Honorable Men Discord. Australian actress wants to cryogenically preserve her son. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
Yes, you heard me right. You heard me right. An Australian actress wants to cryogenically preserve her son, who unfortunately took his own life due to bullying. But rather than me speak on this, let's let NBC News take it from here, and then we'll talk about it further.
Australia, a grieving mom is putting her faith in the future and the internet with the hope of preserving her 13-year-old son's body and maybe one day possibly bringing him back to life. Atreyu McCann tragically took his life last week after months of bullying, and now his mom, Claire, has decided to turn to the science of cryogenics, praying that eventually medical breakthroughs in the future might allow doctors to revive her son and bring back the boy who was her universe. And joining us now is Claire McCann. Claire, thank you so much for being with us. Welcome. We are so sorry for your loss. First off, what do you want the world to know about Atreyu?
I just want the world to know that he was so beautiful and so kind and so gentle and just full of life, and that bullying really sucked the life out of him, and that, you know, if me and his family had known the depths of what he was going through, you know, we would have had the chance to get him more intensive treatment. And that's why I believe that I have to fight for this for him. It was always something that me and him had talked about and that we dreamed about, and we really need help.
I'm so sorry to hear about the bullying. It's just tragedy on tragedy for those on the outside of us that can see like how such intense temporary pain can lead to something so permanent, especially with somebody so young. But do you think that we are really close to a time where science could change the permanence of death? You say you talked to him about that. Like, what were those conversations like?
So during COVID, I mean, we'd been homeschooling, you know, nearly his entire primary school years. It was only when he started high school that this happened this year. But during COVID, of course, being, you know, away from everything, you know, we weren't allowed to go out and things. You know, we were talking about the afterlife and talking about things. And of course, you know, we wanted to go to heaven, but we thought, you know, gosh, what if it isn't real? And we always just want to be together. And we watched this documentary called The Year 1 Million. And we thought, okay, maybe we should do this, you know, in the year 1 million, we could do all these amazing things if this is real. And so we were waiting for this clinic to open in Australia, and it only just opened recently. So I hadn't, you know, gotten the whole life insurance, everything together, and I never could have imagined that I would have been facing his end so soon. But I know that with the advancement of this technology, it really depends on how many people are put into cryogenics preservation. So I hope that, you know, if my son does find someone who's willing to contribute to this funding campaign, and I'm able to put him in, and then I work, you know, the next however long I can to put myself in as well and have plans for our family and friends, I'm going to advocate for the advancement of this technology. And, you know, I think the more people that are involved with this process, the more it will advance. You know, some people think it will be as soon as 100 or 250 years. Me and my son, you know, we were a little bit more realistic. We were like, look, the year 1 million, maybe we come back when, you know, they've learned how to make people fly, how to make people swim in the ocean. And he just, I mean, we used to play video games together, and we used to have so much peace in that. So, like, the idea of a world like where we could be together and I could heal him all the pain he was feeling, he'd just be everything right now. It would give me a purpose.
If, and I hate to ask this question, but like, if by some miracle of science we do see these types of breakthroughs achieved, have you thought, or are you worried about what might happen when they try to bring him back?
So I would be with him if something were to happen with my revival process. I have other friends and family willing to do it as well. I would also have legal things in place for him to, receive immediate in-depth mental treatment, a time capsule for him. And I think it would mean the world for him to see that even though he felt like the school didn't care, like his friends didn't care, that actually the world cared and someone was willing to give him another chance at life, because he only told one person about how he was feeling. And the person that he told was quite young, and she didn't realize he was being serious. So I know that he wanted help. He just didn't know how to ask the right people. And he really deserves another chance. He was beautiful. He was just like me in the sense that we donated, all our free time to activist work. We never hoarded money. Everything we made, we gave back to the arts and humanities. We believe in humanity. And I just hope there's someone out there listening who believes in science, who believes in, that bullying is wrong and just wants to help us, because we don't have much time left and we're not even halfway through. People have talked about us going to American clinics, but it would be even too expensive just to travel over there. So it needs to be the one in Australia. And I just really, I'm just begging someone for help.
And Claire, I know that, originally you said it was 7 days that you had this very small window, and about $300,000 Australian dollars. Where does the window stand now? How many days do you have for this process to have to happen?
I mean, the cryogenics place had said to us, really, it was like 5 days, but maybe 7. If we were to put him in a sleeping bag with dry ice, it could be longer. But when you do that, it does disfigure them, and I wouldn't want to disfigure my son unless I knew that, it was certainly going ahead. He was so precious to me. Yeah, so I'm really giving it, I think, 3.5 more days now.
Claire McCann, really appreciate you sharing this story. And no matter how anyone feels about this, there is no love stronger than a mother's love. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for helping me get this message out.
Thanks for...
There you have it. When I came up on this, I saw other channels label it as a mother's love, just as he concluded during the interview. But she's trying to raise $300,000, and there's a short window where they can actually preserve his body. I really want to know what you all think about this. This sounds like out of a sci-fi movie. This sounds like out of Aliens. Years ago, many years ago, I remember hearing something about this with Michael Jackson. I think he was thinking about doing something like this. I could be wrong, but I remember years ago hearing about this type of science. When Michael Jackson's name was also mentioned alongside of it. But this is it's obviously still fresh for her. He was very young. I feel bad for her. I could only imagine. I can't imagine, actually. I can't imagine that feeling. I wouldn't even want to experience that feeling. But she's already putting it in her mind that, she wants to sign herself up in the future when she passes for the same thing, in hopes that maybe in the future she could be brought back along with him. First of all, she doesn't even know when she's going to pass. If she passes at an older age, let's just say for some reason science works and it could bring them back alive. If she dies at a late age, and she's a 80, 90-year-old woman, and they could bring her back and bring him back at the age that he is when he passed, how much time would she have left with him? Or does it not matter? I think this is just This is shocking. Honestly, when I came across this, I absolutely had to do an episode on this because I never heard anything like this. Never heard anything like this. And I don't know if this is a testament to how some people think in different parts of the world, because I'm not even sure if an American woman of any nationality would have been saying something like this. And by all means, please jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this. I don't think an American woman losing their child due to the child taking their own life, or just American women, period, that are well off, I don't see them thinking about doing something like this. You know, and I'm not, by no means am I criticizing Australians, but I could only assume that in other parts of the world people have a different way of thinking. You know, I really don't see a report like this coming out in US news by an American woman. I think regardless if they're an atheist or they believe in a religion, they're not thinking to raise money to preserve their loved one. Is this the start of something that is going to become the norm? Are more people going to be considering doing something like this in hopes that they could bring back their loved one? I don't know. My thoughts on this haven't been raised in the church. I wouldn't even think to do this. And I've lost a lot of loved ones. And I would even think to do something like this, because I would just look at this as going against God. That's just how I see it. But that's just how I see it. I'm interested to know how those of you that watch this episode in its entirety feel about something like this. This is mind-blowing for me. You know, but science is good for some things, but not all things. You know? And something like this, I wouldn't want to take part in something like this. Now, oddly enough, one of the things that I thought would be good for, you know, coming from science is I believe there was talks at one point in time of trying to, when the talks of cloning came around, and bear with me on this, I'm not saying cloning is a good thing, and of course there's been plenty of movies, Netflix movies with clones and stuff like that, Hollywood movies with clones. When they spoke about cloning body parts for those people who've lost limbs, I thought that's a good idea. But maybe this is one and the same. Is that tampering with the what's been already written in the scriptures? Is that tampering with playing God? Is that something God would frown upon? I don't know. I'm interested in knowing what you all think about something like this. This, cloning, science as a whole. Science is good for some things, bad for other things. Like I said, some things that have been developed from science has helped us, and some things I think is destructive, and in the wrong hands could be catastrophic. But I'm speechless. I'm really speechless on this. I really am. But I definitely wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that this is a thing. It's out there. And anytime I come across something like this, I'm absolutely going to make an episode about it, because, again, this is an engaging channel, and I was shocked by hearing it. And immediately when I saw it, I said, no. I snapped a picture of it on my TV, and I said, I'm going to make sure to double back and make this one of my episodes. So there you have it. All right. Cryogenically preserving her son. This is what this Australian actress is asking of people in a GoFundMe, with the projected goal of $300,000 to make this possible. And she has a short window to do so. I'm speechless. I'm going to end it right here. All right. So I'll see you all in the comments. I appreciate everyone who watched this video. I appreciate everyone who subscribed to my channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop daily 5 p.m. Salute. Take care.